Where y'all from?
As I experiment with this channel and my videos, I'm going to try something new this week, which is just merely more of a podcast style. I've got a few articles pulled up that I want to talk about that I found, some old, some new, and maybe try this with no edits. So at first, or at least no edits in terms of cutting out any of the talking that I'm doing, and also while trying to condense it and keep it under 10 minutes. So up first, I'm going to talk about this old article. Actually, it's not that old. It came out in 2019. And it's about how grandmasters in chess burn up to 6,000 calories while they're in the middle of a match. And specifically, Robert Sapolksy, who studies stress at Stanford University, says that a player can burn up to 6,000 calories a day, more than 3 times the average person burns in a day during a match. It's based on breathing rates, blood pressure, and muscle contractions before, during, and after major tournaments. And this is similar to what elite athletes experience on a day-to-day basis, because your brain can elevate all of these levels, and then your body's got to keep up to it. So I guess these guys are just sitting there, just sweating their tails off, just using brain power, sitting there and burning. And some of these guys, I think, are losing weight. Yeah. It all combines to produce an average weight loss of 2 pounds a day, or about 10 to 12 over the course of a 10-day tournament. So these guys need to take care of themselves just like any sort of athlete does, and it's not something you think about. Any job, I believe, that requires a high brain involvement, like attorneys, physicians, of that ilk, would probably experience similar things, maybe not 6,000 calories a day level, but definitely something that has to be considered when you're talking about your health and your caloric intake and why stress equates to weight loss. I think a lot of people may experience this in college or when they enter something like law school like I was in. I think I even experienced some caloric deficit without really equating it to just the mere stress that I was under. But hey, that's super interesting. Not something that people think about. It's like, oh, I got to lose weight. Well, I'm not going to sit down and think. I'm going to go out, I'm going to go run, I'm going to go lift weights, stuff like that. Hey, maybe pick up chess. I don't know. Seems interesting. This next article I want to talk about is the boosted board layoffs. If you don't know what boosted board is, it's an electric skateboard company. I personally, and I think a lot of people, based on what I've seen on Reddit and just through the involvement of their company, have been exposed to this through Casey Neistat's videos. If you're on YouTube and don't know who Casey Neistat is, great content, about like 11 million subscribers or something, and he's been given awards, Mr. YouTube, whatever. But it was the first time I ever saw exactly what a boosted board is. Just an electric skateboard. Now, companies go through layoffs, their ebbs and flows, but what troubles me about what they're saying, or at least how it's reported, this TechCrunch article. Boosted attributes the layoffs to the cost of developing, producing, and maintaining electric vehicles and the unplanned challenge with the high expense of the U.S.-China tariff war. If you don't know the origins of why U.S. needed to enter this tariff war with China, it's because they have a high cost of import that they put on U.S. products. And not only that, a lot of our intellectual property goes over there and just gets completely ripped off. So China exports a lot of goods to the United States. We buy it. Our money goes into their economy, but there's no quid pro quo. Their money doesn't come back our way because, again, they're either taxing the crap out of our stuff to make it reach a price point where it's unattainable for the buyers over there, or they're ripping it off. Was it handled in the way that you would think with how Trump was working with China? Who knows? It needed to be done. There was even people like Elon Musk backing it because his Tesla cars are just so high priced over there. But to blame that as a reason is, I think, completely unacceptable, and probably also illustrates a dishonesty of their business model and as to why they're experiencing trouble maintaining that their level of a company that they would like to. So in the end result, they had to issue layoffs. Yeah, so they've been around since 2012. Says they have more than 100,000 riders, have traveled tens of millions of miles. Here at the beach, I see people all the time. It's boosted boards, evolved boards, different types of scooters. One wheels are getting more popular. I personally love riding my one wheel. And things happen where your supply chain experiences issues with procuring certain products. If you're having them made overseas and they're not in factories that you maintain yourself, again, you're going to experience things like boosted is. Now, at the fault of how you want to prevent something like this is maybe a diversity in your supply chain. I had created a Yeti video, and as I read through the report, it's something that Yeti discusses that they don't own the manufacturing tools to create their coolers. However, they have a diverse amount of suppliers because they know if like one of those falls down in a country that experiences something like a tariff war, they can maybe divert the supply chain over and they can kind of offset certain costs to maintain their margins. Clearly, that's not something that Boosted Board thought of or did. I don't know. I predict that someone, if they have a viable business model at its core, someone's going to come in and buy them up. That'd be great because the electronic alternative vehicle market is something that's just going to continue to be increased as cities grow and people are looking for more fun alternative modes of transportation. Boosted's got a great name. If you think of electric skateboards, you're probably thinking of Boosted or Evolve. That's it. All right. Lastly, I think this is such a futuristic killer idea, and it's Goodyear's smart tire concept prints its own treads. So, Goodyear is coming out with, this was a great analogy that Engadget posted on their article. The idea is essentially the same as making Play-Doh spaghetti. So you get your tire, and within it, the core has this, what do they call it? Recharged tires extrude a high-tech compound of renewable materials, including dandelion rubber and synthetic spider silk. So within the tire, this compound, as the treads wear down, just oozes out this new synthetic compound, and it hardens and it becomes a new shell for the tire. So you don't replace the tire, you would just replace the internal cartridge, from my understanding. It sounds pretty expensive, but it's also a never flat technology because it's not air within the core of the tire. It's going to be the synthetic compound along with all the mechanisms that push out the recharged tire high-tech compound. It's pretty interesting, pretty futuristic. Obviously, this tire system has a good chance of hitting the market in its current form. So don't go getting your hopes up. No, that's nothing. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was going to be when the release of it is. But the future's here, folks. And that's pretty cool. All right, so those are the 3 articles that I want to talk about. It was Grandmasters burning 6,000 calories, boosted layoffs. It's unfortunate that they're going through it, but the dishonesty of why they're going through it kind of illustrates why they're going through it. Or perhaps it's not their evaluation of the business issues internally, and it's just how it's being reported, because it does show kind of a political bias. And I don't know if TechCrunch is doing that, but it is a theory. And then lastly, the Goodyear Smart Tire concept. I don't have much thinking about in the way of tech this week. I mean, my favorite tech this week is my Kindle. It's an old Paperwhite, and I'm going to start reading Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, because sleep is not something that I put a high priority on. I personally don't believe I need much of it, maybe 5 hours and I'm good to go. But I know there's very valuable reasons why you should reach your 8-hour goal. I use an Apple Watch. I can't measure my sleep. That's one of the things that I want to evaluate if I should move to something like the Whoop strap. I know people that have the Whoop strap. The readings that it gives you are amazing, but I don't know if I can justify wearing the Apple Watch on one wrist and the Whoop strap on the other. However, for content purposes and evaluation purposes, it would be interesting to compare the technology of both of them. So it's still a possibility. In the way of fitness, my running sucks. I'm going to start upping my running game, and I think it's going to start tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. There's a track down the street from me. I may just go there and just, hey, I'm going to run 3 miles. I don't care if I have to walk a portion of it, run real slow. I don't care if it's 10-minute miles. Just get her done and improve from there. I think running and cardio is very important in terms of health. I love doing the CrossFit thing. I love doing all the other activities, but I would like to up my running game. I ran a half marathon a number of years back. I did the Air Force half marathon. I believe my time was about 2 hours, 10 minutes. And after I did that, I was just no more running for me. And I think that hurt me in terms of my overall fitness. I did pick up other things, and I wouldn't say I'm completely out of shape. But the fact that I don't run has really hurt me. I'm using guys like David Goggins and Cameron Haynes to really push the motivation to get this done. I may need a new pair of running shoes. The last pair I have are pretty shot. But for now, I'm just going to use what I got. Just get out there, put one foot in front of the other, and pound the pavement. So that's it for this week. Let's see how this new format looks. It's going to be really tough to not want to edit my speech, but hope you like it. All right, get out there, do something awesome. Peace.
Buildings with the kids on the porch. Murals on the walls for the ones that we lost. Bodegas on the corner, let me see what's in store. Subway stations with the maps and the cars. Summer cookouts, uncle got the sandals on. Statue of Liberty, we holding up the torch. If they ask where I'm from, tell them this is New York. We from the home of the Biggie, people blow.